Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Abril. This is my husband. His name is Roger. He'll be joining us today for this video. We're doing a little collaboration together. We're just pretty much going to be going through our list of our top 10 favorite Disney movies. However, we are excluding Marvel and Star Wars because those are just like a given, and they have so many movies within each what would you call it?
Franchise.
Within each franchise that we had to take that out. So, but that's definitely up there for us. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get started with our top 10 Disney movies. I'm really curious to see what his top favorite are because he's very he's gonna sneak up in there and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't think of that. So I haven't seen his list. He's seen mine. So I'm really curious to see what they are. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna start. I'm gonna start, and then he'll go after, and then we'll alternate. So my number 10 is Finding Nemo. It's really hard for me to pick just one because I love them so much, and I really don't think they should be numbered, but just for the sake of this video, we're doing it. So my number 10 is Finding Nemo. I just loved it. Me personally, I thought I could relate a lot to the little girl that shakes the little fish. Don't judge me, but for some reason I did.
Daddy? Fishy? Fishy! Wake up! Wake up! Oh no!
Quick, to the top of Mount Wanahakalugi!
Why are you sleeping?
Hurry!
I thought it was neat that it was like a dad movie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I really like that. So that's just to keep it brief, Finding Nemo.
My number 10 on the list is Aladdin, the 2019 version. So I, growing up, didn't watch, I don't think I watched fully the original Aladdin movie. I think I might have seen it in parts, but I knew enough to kind of have the gist of what was going on and stuff. And but the newer rendition of it that came out last year, with Will Smith, Naomi Scott, I forgot the actor who plays Aladdin. I forgot his name, but they all did a great job. But I think I really enjoyed it because it was seeing something that I had always seen, in cartoon form come to life in such a very beautiful way. Yeah. And the color palette and the way it was shot. They still had the music in there. It was really nice, really great live action Disney film. One of my favorites, for sure. So yeah, that would be my number 10. All right, so my number 9 on the list is going to be Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6 was a huge surprise to me back when we actually, when it first came out, we went to see it in theaters. Very big surprise because I didn't know too much about that brand. I don't know if it started off as a comic story, or I don't know where it originated from. I don't really remember, but somehow Disney made the film, and the film itself was awesome. It was funny, it was charming, and it was even very touching at the end where spoiler alert, Baymax dies. And then they just bring him back to life with a different, I guess they create a different Baymax. I don't remember the movie too well, but it is one of my favorites because I remember, how it made me feel while I was watching it, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm into superhero movies and stuff like that, so I think it was nice to see that coming from Disney as an animated film.
Yeah. My number 9 is Wreck-It Ralph. Now, when this movie came out, I was obsessed, okay? It made me want to go out and be a little race car driver. I already love the game Candy Crush, so it was just all candy related. I loved it. It was honestly a blast, but still had its little heartfelt moments. So awesome, really awesome. My number 8 is Cinderella. Classic. Doesn't really need much explanation. As a girl growing up, Cinderella, hello. Not that I can relate, no evil stepsisters, no evil stepmother. But nonetheless, I just loved it. It's just a classic princess movie.
So number 8 for me is going to be Monsters Inc. the original one. Right off the bat, I just want to say that I didn't enjoy the sequel as much as the first one, but I did very much love the first one, and it was something that my sister and I would watch a lot growing up. But it was very nice, very charming, it was very different at the time. And Pixar is just always constantly reinventing themselves, especially after Disney kind of like bought them out. That collaboration works really well. So one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 7 is going to be Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is pretty much right there with Monsters Inc. as far as what it did for us growing up. It's just it was very nice, and that story was very touching from beginning to end. They opened the movie up with a tearjerker.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very great. Again, I didn't enjoy the sequel as much as the original, but still enjoyed it nonetheless. But Finding Nemo, classic for sure.
My number 7 is Beauty and the Beast, 2017. I really like the animated version, but I really liked Emma Watson portraying Belle. And as far as the Beast, I know he always says he has comments he wasn't scary, hairy enough.
No, it's not even. It's just like I didn't agree with like the horns being like the way they were. Like Beast didn't have horns like that in the cartoon.
I don't know why they did what they did, but essentially the entire movie, I just really liked it. And yeah, another princess for the books. My number 6 is a Goofy movie. I love both the Goofy movies, the one where he goes to college and then this one where they take their trip. But this one, we actually just watched it the other day, and it just made me, like, I had to put it on this list because it's very heartfelt, it's touching. The relationship between Goofy and Max is like, it's just, I had some teary-eyed moments, and it's just a classic. Like, how can you not have this somewhere on your list? What's your number 6?
All right, so my number 6 is going to be Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. Now, this one counts, even though Marvel and Star Wars doesn't count, but Pirates of the Caribbean for me is a beloved franchise since the very first movie. But At World's End kind of like sealed it for me because that original trilogy, it was something that kind of like, it had people coming back. It had everybody kind of like, engaged with what was like, everybody wanted to find out what would happen next. Especially the way that the second movie left off. So I think At World's End kind of ended it like perfectly. I know critics have their fair share and their disapproval of this film in some way, shape, or form, but I personally like it as a fan of the franchise. So that is my number 6.
Awesome.
My number 5 is Toy Story 3. Another third film in a trilogy. This one was absolutely amazing. The only reason why I didn't kind of top off the original was because the original is the original. The original is what started it all. But Toy Story 3 was out of this world. I think it was something that kind of just, once you thought, okay, where's Pixar going to go from here with Disney? What are they going to do with Toy Story franchise? And then the third one comes out. I thought it was perfect. It was a beautiful ending to a great story. I really don't think they should have made a fourth one, but that's my opinion. So that is my number 5.
Yeah. My number 5 is Aladdin, the 2019 one. Again, just kind of like piggyback what he said. It was just amazing to see that come to life. Like with honestly all of the Disney movies that they made. This one's not on my list, but Winnie the Pooh, like, it was really good. Some people might say that it was like really like sad, or Christopher Robin rather. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just like, it just falls in that category of just bringing an animated, which is super like, okay, that's not real life, to real life and more relatable, and it's just amazing, really cool. Yeah. And not to mention the music, super catchy. On my number 4, we have The Little Mermaid. Classic. I know they're gonna make a Little Mermaid real life at some point. I don't know when. So I'm looking forward to that. But for right now, obviously, it's just the animated version. Again, any of the movies that are like super catchy with the songs and everything, I freaking love. And again, just another princess movie that I love.
So now things are getting a little tough here because I hold a lot of these top 4 movies like near and dear because I grew up with them. So it's gonna be kind of tough arranging them a specific way. So, but I'll try my best. I'm gonna have to go with at number 4. I think this is tough. It's tough. So for me, number 4 is gonna be Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl, which is the first one that of the whole franchise, and that one for me is top notch. That one is always gonna be a classic for me. I think that's a film where Disney really showed what they're able to do. They took the concept of a family ride essentially, and they kind of like turned it upside down, added this like this character that now all of a sudden is a household name, fan favorite. They even added him to the ride. Okay, they made this huge like character out of Jack Sparrow, and they did such a great job, and his character captured so many audiences to really be fond of this film and other ones down the line. But this one was just something that I even have a story just to kind of that I'll always remember of that day where we went to go see it in theaters. It was my whole family, my parents, my sister, and I. And my dad wanted to go see Terminator. Terminator, the third film, I can't remember what it was called. Terminator, not the second one's Judgment Day. Third one was Rise something. I can't remember what it was, but T3. Terminator, the third one was coming out in theaters, and it was coming out around the same time as Pirates of the Caribbean. And I told my dad, I'm like, Dad, I was like 7, 8 years old. I'm like, Dad, we have to watch this movie. It was so good. Because I had been hearing about it and seeing the commercials on Disney Channel. I was 7 years old. I didn't know how to like look stuff up on the internet. So I saw the commercials on Disney Channel.
It wasn't as accessible then.
and I was just so like captured by what I was watching that I wanted to see. And I kept telling my dad, I'm like, yeah. And at the time, Disney Channel would show like behind the scenes stuff too. So he agreed to it. My mom like was like, yeah, let's just go watch that. And he ended up loving it. I think even more so than Terminator 3 after he saw Terminator 3. So Pirates of the Caribbean was something special, and to this day, that movie is still a classic for me. So my number 3 is going to be a Goofy movie, and the reason why it's not number 2 is because my top 2 are kind of like 2 films that I just watched so much when I was little growing up. But Goofy movie was right there with it, and I really enjoyed a Goofy movie because for the same reason she did. It had a very, very, very heartfelt message in it. Again, dad-son relationship. Very, very well done for an animated film. And watching it back the other day, years later, I noticed that some of the movements that the animation, the animation characters would make while they're dancing was very realistic. I don't know how they did that because I don't know if they used back then people in like suits to kind of like match their movements and facial expressions to put them into cartoons and stuff. I don't know if they used that in the 90s, in the 80s, but the Goofy movie just to this day it still holds up well, and I believe that film came out in 1995. So again, another classic, and it has my favorite Disney character, like original Disney character, I guess you want to say. So it's top 3. Good film.
My number 3 is Toy Story, the first one. Just classic, good old Toy Story. I just remember when I was little and we would put it on. One of my favorite parts was at the beginning where we see Pixar and then the little lamp, which we actually have one here that looks super like it. But that's like one of my fondest memories of just like getting ready to watch it and like waiting for that. That was like the classic thing that we looked forward to. And then I would watch it with like my brother, and we had actually watched it in Spanish. I know you too, right? Yeah. The first time you ever watched it was in Spanish. Yeah. So like I know the songs in Spanish, and it's just a classic. It's one of those things that's nostalgic. You know, you don't really need such an explanation for it as because the storyline isn't. It's just like childhood right there. So my number 2 is Frozen 2. I love it. Again, like I'm a sucker for the music. All the songs there get me. The sister like relationship, I love it. It's just Olaf. I can't. All I can say is I love it. That's it. So that's my number 2. I liked it a little bit more than the first one. Like I said, we had to make this into just 10 movies, so that's not fair. But yeah.
So my number 2 is gonna be the original Toy Story, pretty much because it's the original.
Yeah.
And it was just something that to this day, once you go back and watch it, it's just like the comedy hits, the jokes land, and the charm is there, and it's just so great to see what Pixar has been able to do. And I think back when the movie first released, Pixar wasn't owned by Disney yet, so technically, I mean, it's still Disney property now, but I think back then it technically wasn't yet a Disney property. So
Yeah.
But still, we include it in this list because it is now. And my number 1.
You haven't said this one yet, which means we have the same number 1.
Our number 1, apparently we just come to find out now, is the original animated Lion King.
Yeah.
That film, you know, we were so excited when they announced that they were gonna release like a live action one, which
We were so excited, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really live action, but it was the closest that it can come to, I guess you could say.
I guess this is one of the ones that we actually prefer, the animated over the live action.
Yeah, I mean, it was great, so great that when it released a few years ago, it released in theaters, re-released in 3D. We went to go see it. Just because, you know, it was just, you know, the Lion King, by the way, both Toy Story 1 and Lion King, I watched growing up in Spanish.
Yeah.
So when I went and watched them in English years later, I was like, what is this? It's funny because for me, the original was Spanish, but in reality, it was English. So,
The Lion King is just so, like...
memorable. It's so
relatable, as in, like,
heavy,
the message, the circle of life.
Yeah. The songs are all the songs. I mean, Circle of Life,
Hakuna Matata.
The one where he sings that he just wants to be king. Can you feel the love tonight?
Yeah, it's just like trying to grow up so fast and just slow down.
It was a heavy movie for kids because, you know, I mean, it shows death scene.
That's what I love about Disney, though. Like, you can always watch it, like, with your kids. You know, your kids perceive it a specific way when they're younger, just like we did. Yeah. Now as we're older, we're like, like, you know what I mean? Like those moments. It's just like really special. Yeah. So.
Yeah, Disney really hit home with that one. And to this day, every time we go to the Animal Kingdom at Walt Disney World, we always catch the Lion King show. The live show, I hope that they never remove that. They had a puppet show, fun fact, they had a puppet version of the actual movie puppet show at Magic Kingdom where Mickey's Fill Our Magic is now, but they removed that one, unfortunately. I only saw it a few times when I was very little. Very sad, but hopefully the Animal Kingdom version does not disappear anytime soon because it is very, very, very moving, very lively, and it's just a very you know, it's a very, very nice portrayal of the story and of the film. It's very nice. So there you have it, guys. That was our top 10 Disney movie list for each one of us. We had a few similarities in there, but also a few differences. So let us know down below which one you guys like, which one you guys disagreed with, and maybe even your top 10 list as well. We would love to see that.
Well, thank you guys so much if you stuck around till the end. This is just, like he said, our little piece of Disney. And nothing, just look forward to hearing from you in the comments. And we just hope you have a lovely day, and we'll see you later.